Sibylla eventually gave birth to a healthy son in the winter of 1177, naming him Baldwin after her brother. The birth of Baldwin V was met with relief across the Crusader kingdom, ensuring continuity in the dynasty. Nevertheless, Sibylla's challenges only multiplied as a young, unmarried mother of the heir presumptive. And the pressure to remarry became urgent once more, as various factions within the kingdom vied for influence. Debates among Jerusalem's nobles regarding Sibylla's next marriage reflected the kingdom's own turbulent political landscape. One faction, led by Raymond III of Tripoli, urged caution and a candidate with proven experience, while another faction, supported by Agnes, who had returned to court, preferred a more immediate alliance that would enhance their influence. Duke Hugh III of Burgundy figured prominently as a potential match, but political instability in France delayed his departure to marry Sibylla. Amid this chaos, Guy of Lusignan, a young noble from France, arrived in Jerusalem around 1180, charismatic but politically inexperienced. He initially gained favor among Agnes and other supporters within court circles. Sibylla, too, appeared to have personal feelings for Guy, although the specifics of her willingness to enter into a second marriage remain ambiguous. Baldwin IV, initially skeptical of Guy's suitability, ultimately recognized the potential threat posed by plots against Sibylla that aimed to force her into an arrangement undesirable to both her and the kingdom. Thus, Sibylla and Guy married in early 1180, altering Jerusalem's political dynamics almost overnight. Their union, however, unveiled new strains within the realm. Sibylla retained her titles as Countess of Jaffa and Ashkelon. Guy's elevation to co-regent created divisions within the kingdom. As Baldwin IV's health continued to decline, Sibylla and Guy began taking on responsibilities on behalf of the king, further complicating the political landscape. By 1183, Baldwin IV had succumbed to blindness and physical incapacity, which exacerbated his anxiety about the kingdom's future, given Guy's inept leadership during a crucial military endeavor. When Guy failed to respond effectively to a Saladin offensive, Baldwin publicly stripped him of military authority, threatening his position and humiliating Sibylla in the process. Torn between her loyalty to her brother and her husband, Sibylla found herself increasingly isolated within a divided court, grappling with conflicting loyalties. As Baldwin IV's condition worsened, he sought to establish a clearer line of succession that would exclude Guy and secure the kingdom's stability by promoting Baldwin V as a less controversial heir. The kingdom's internal strife mirrored Sibylla's own turmoil, as she navigated the expectations and pressures of her position amidst a backdrop of political uncertainty and personal heartache. Female perspectives on the Crusades often overlooked, Sibylla's journey encapsulates the complex interplay of power, gender, and survival in a fractured kingdom, highlighting the essential roles women played in shaping the narrative of this pivotal era in history. Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to support our work and never miss an upload. Like this video, drop a comment, and share it with others to show your support and help us grow this historical community. When we reflect on the Crusades, our minds often conjure images of gallant warrior kings, epic religious conflicts that spanned centuries, and the relentless pursuit of territorial gains under the banner of divine faith. However, amidst these tales of valor and conquest, we must not overlook the significant roles played by women queens, princesses, daughters, and wives who influenced the course of history during this tumultuous era. One remarkable figure among them is Sibylla of Jerusalem, a woman born into the complexities of the Crusader kingdoms, herself emblematic of their ascendance and eventual decline. Sibylla was born around 1160 into one of Jerusalem's royal families during a period rife with strife and uncertainty. Her father Amalric, Count of Jaffa and Ashkelon, would later ascend to the throne as King Amalric I, dynamic ruler recognized for his unwavering commitment to fortifying and expanding the kingdom against the encroaching threats posed by formidable Muslim leaders, particularly the ambitious Saladin. Her mother, Agnes of Courtenay, belonged to a prestigious Frankish family, which formed the ruling class of the Crusader states, intertwining Sibylla's fate with an influential noble lineage that extended across France and England. Additionally, Sibylla was the niece of Baldwin III, the King of Jerusalem, and the granddaughter of Queen Melisande, the kingdom's first female monarch. From an early age, Sibylla's life was marked by a blend of hope and uncertainty. Her childhood was appended, when her parents' marriage was annulled following the death of Baldwin III, leading to Amalric's ascension as king, which only materialized upon his agreement to set aside Agnes. This decision resulted in Agnes withdrawing from royal duties, creating a void in the court's feminine presence. At just 4 years old, Sibylla was placed in the convent of St. Lazarus near Jerusalem, under the care of her great-aunt, the Abbess Euphrosyne of Bethany. This relocation was in accordance with medieval Western customs that saw royal children sent to the households of relatives, effectively severing her connection with her parents and brother. At the convent, Sibylla received an education steeped in the religious and moral virtues expected of royalty. Her studies included Latin and French, court etiquette, embroidery, singing, hunting with a hawk, and the use of a ball skills integral to a lady of her standing. Furthermore, she was imbued with the religious devotion central to her family's identity as rulers of a Christian kingdom in a predominantly Muslim territory. However, her seclusion did not shield her from the political machinations of the court. King Amalric was anxious about his own mortality, fearing he might meet a premature fate. Like his father and brother, recognized that his son, who suffered from suspected leprosy at a young age, would be unable to produce an heir. Consequently, the prospect of royal succession shifted towards Sibylla, who, as the eldest child, became the next logical candidate. Though the Crusader states were accustomed to female rulers, Sibylla still needed to find a suitable husband capable of ruling alongside her, a requirement complicated by the need for political alliances and her father's insistence on selecting a husband of high rank, experience in governance and military affairs, and without close blood ties to her. Initially, Amalric proposed a marriage to Stephen of Blois, brother-in-law to King Louis VI of France, arrived in Jerusalem in 1171. Despite his noble lineage, Stephen's character and motives raised doubts, and after a short engagement, he withdrew from the match. The abrupt end of this arrangement left Sibylla and the kingdom in a precarious position. Exacerbated by the unforeseen death of King Amalric in 1174, which plunged the realm into turmoil. His young son Baldwin IV, just 13, ascended the throne, but was already burdened by leprosy, igniting concerns over the stability of the kingdom and thrusting Sibylla into the public eye as a potential future ruler. In the wake of her brother's ascension, it became clear to the kingdom's leading nobles that Sibylla's preparation for leadership could be crucial in ensuring the continuity of Jerusalem's fragile dynasty. Almost overnight, her education, grooming, and inevitable marriage took on urgent political significance. As the future of the Crusader kingdom began to rest squarely on her shoulders, yet Sibylla was still inexperienced, having spent most of her life in seclusion. And the search for a suitable husband remained pressing, complicated further by her familial ties to many of the local barons. With the aim of solidifying political ties, the council initially considered various European nobles, eventually focusing on William of Montferrat, a young man from a notable crusading family in northern Italy. His credentials and connections to prominent figures like Louis VII of France and Holy Roman Emperor Frederick Barbarossa seemed promising. But when William arrived in Jerusalem in October 1176, many of the local barons were unimpressed, particularly following recent setbacks in military campaigns involving his powerful cousin. Despite these concerns, the wedding proceeded in November 1176, marking a significant public declaration of Sibylla's role as Baldwin's presumptive heir. Tragically, William's reign as her husband was short-lived. He fell gravely ill and died in June 1177. Only months after their wedding, leaving Sibylla pregnant with their child, this abrupt change cast her once again into a position of vulnerability. At merely 16 or 17 years old, Sibylla became a widow and the bearer of the kingdom's future. Her status transformed. Now the mother of the unborn heir, her safety and status carried heightened political implications. To protect her from opportunistic European leaders eager to advance their own ambitions, the court declared she would observe a year of mourning, delaying any decisions regarding her next marriage.